You have to ask yourself, am I healing or am I hiding behind excuses? You are not behind, you are not cursed, you are not unlucky, you are not just not meant for more. You are way more than that. You are actually in your own way. And that is worse than any of those things that I just mentioned. Because life is already hard. Inflation is real, rejection is real, patriarchy is real, competition is real, mental health is real, burnout is real. And on top of all of that, you are fighting yourself too. And that, in my opinion, is absolutely insane. What if the biggest thing that is blocking you from your success is you yourself? I need you to sit with that for a moment. My name is Blossom, and I'm here to make sure that you never settle for a life that is less than the life that you deserve. And today we're going to be talking about something that is uncomfortable and it's not easy for you to hear, which is how to stop standing in your own way. Because life is already tough enough. We already have so many little things that is standing in the way of our success: systems, expectations, fear, comparison, rejection, timing. And the worst thing that you can do to yourself is to join the opposition against yourself. Stop being your own biggest up. Stop being your own biggest enemy and actually stand by yourself for once in your life. That leads us to chapter 1. Life is already tough. Life is already very, very tough. There are already so many barriers. Barriers like limited opportunities, financial stress, self-doubt, societal pressure, family expectations, fear of failure, fear of success, and so many things are standing in your way. Psychologists call it self-sabotage behavior, which is when your actions contradict your long-term goals. There have been research that have been published in journals that show that people often choose short-term emotional relief over long-term benefits, even when it harms them. And you know what that translates to? It means that you want the dream body, but you skip the workouts. You want the degree, but you procrastinate the assignment. You want peace, but you text the man that you know drains you. And every time you do that, that is you standing in your own way. You dream out loud. You say things like, I hope I achieve this, I hope I win, I hope that I become her eventually, but your actions whisper something different. Your actions tell a whole different story, and that contradiction, that is self-sabotage. That leads us to chapter 2. Every time you procrastinate, every time you don't do what you said that you were going to do, every time you settle for less, you choose less than you deserve, every time you stay around people that you know you've outgrown, that is you pulling yourself back. That is all it means. And I need to say this gently, but I still need to say this firmly. Sometimes it's not trauma. Sometimes it's not bad luck. Sometimes it is discipline. Now, don't get me wrong. Trauma is real, mental health is real, structural barriers are real, and all of these things do exist and do affect people's lives. But at some point, you have to ask some questions to yourself. You have to ask yourself something. You have to ask yourself, am I healing or am I hiding behind excuses? Because giving into every desire, every distraction, every comfort in fault, that is not softness. That is avoidance. And avoidance keeps you average. Avoidance is the reason why you are not yet among the top people that you see out there. And that leads us to chapter 3. What next after you fail? What does one do next after one fails? And here for me is the balance. You will mess up. You will procrastinate sometimes. This is unavoidable. You will fall back into old habits. You will give in to your desires. All of these are inevitable. That is human. And there's nothing crazy about it. There's nothing, that is unexpected about it. The problem is not failing. The problem is staying down and pretending that you don't deserve better. If you mess up and you say, okay, that wasn't, aligned, and I'm getting back up after this, that is growth. If you mess up and you say, well, I already ruined it, let me just, keep spiraling and hope that something good happens for me, that is you standing in your own way again. The biggest and the highest version of you is not perfect. I know it sounds like the highest version of you should be perfect, should have everything that you don't have to get that right, but she's not perfect. She just gets up faster than you are currently doing. Now let's go to chapter 4. Every time you do things that do not align with the vision you have for your life, that is you blocking yourself. You cannot say that, oh, I want to be confident, and then stay in spaces that shrink you. You cannot say things like, oh, I want success, or I want to be successful, and then avoid the work. You cannot say things like, oh, I want peace in my life. I just want to be peaceful. I want a peaceful life, and then entertain chaos. Alignment is power. If you say you want something, then act and move that way. There is research on cognitive dissonance that shows that when your actions contradict your beliefs, it creates internal stress. That stress doesn't disappear. It turns into anxiety, into guilt, into frustration. You feel stuck because you are living out of alignment. That is not a spiritual concept. It's simply psychology. That leads us to chapter 5, which is how to stop being your biggest enemy. Life is already standing in your way sometimes. The economy does not care about your dreams. Time does not slow down for your confusion. The world is not designed to automatically reward you. So, why would you join the opposition? Stop being your own biggest enemy. Stop being your own biggest up. Because when you remove yourself as the obstacle, you become dangerous. Because that means every other thing that is attacking you or affecting your growth is something that is out of your control, and is something that you can easily detach from and focus on what is within your control, which is yourself. That leads us to chapter 6, which is how do you apply this into becoming the highest and the best version of yourself. Let's make it practical. Step 1, get brutally honest. Where are you sabotaging yourself? Write it down. Step 2, identify the pattern. Is it procrastination? Is it people pleasing? Is it you settling? Is it fear? Step 3, replace the behavior. Don't just remove it. If you scroll to avoid discomfort, replace it with 10 minutes of action. That's just an example. Step 4, shorten the recovery time. When you mess up, don't spiral for a week. Reset immediately and as soon as you can. Step 5, build alignment rituals. Every morning, ask yourself, what will the highest version of myself do today? And then do exactly that. Even if it is uncomfortable, even if it's something that you don't want to do, do that, especially if and when it is uncomfortable. Life is really tough. This is a truth that we cannot deny. There will always be obstacles, but the worst thing that you can do to yourself is to stand in your own way. You deserve your dreams. You deserve the life that you envision for yourself. You deserve to become her. But you cannot want better and continue choosing worse for yourself. You just can't. So stop being your biggest enemy. Stop being the only person that is standing in your way, the person that is pushing you back, and stand with yourself. Fight for yourself and watch what happens when you remove the only obstacle that was fully in your control. You. And that is all that literally matters. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.